Nice Shorts theme song.
Nice shorts. Yeah.
Hello, you two, and so nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us
Hello.
today.
Hello,
Hello.
thank you for having us.
Can Lucia and Nico introduce a little bit about yourself and about the film we are going to screen?
I'm Lucia Bulgheroni. I'm the co-director of the short film Retour, which is a short film made in stop motion animation. And it's a film that talks about two little stoats or ermines. They are going to face like some challenging growing up. It's about growing up.
Mm.
And here is Nick.
I'm led the animation on this short film alongside Chiara Pagliarin and Giacomo Pierro. They were my two other animators who helped me on this journey, which lasted around 3 months. And I am a stop motion animator. I studied at the Aardman Academy, and this led me to a series of short films made in collaboration with various studios. Phantasmagoria Studio is the production studio behind Allere Retour. But I also worked and became a part of Col Animation, which is a Portuguese-based animation studio, Oscar nominated. And I am currently in Torino, working with my daily job at Robbing Studio, which is a creative media animation studio.
That's amazing. Yeah. A lot of beautiful works. When hearing those names, they just pop on my head. Follow up on one of the question for Lucia. How does this story come to you?
So the story initially came by Michele Greco, who is the writer and the other co-director. So we co-directed the film. So he wrote the story also with another girl. So actually the writer there too, him and this other girl, Gwenda Certo. The script arrived to me through this production studio that we both work with, which is Phantasmagoria. When first I got the script from Michele, then I actually researched about the stoats and the ermines and about the camouflage. Their camouflage actually happened with the sunlight, so they perceive when winter is coming. And so the fur start to turn into white to camouflage with the snow. But many years ago, it's less, and sometimes there is no snow at all. And so this camouflage is not happening anymore because suddenly they're becoming white, tiny spots on the rocks, on nature, on the dirt. So they're actually very visible. And so this is why they are in danger. And which I didn't know, and actually many people as well doesn't know. And from here also comes the idea of the hunter melting the snow. I read it and I liked it. Then the studio put us in contact, me and Michele, and we started to talk about the script, get into the story, get into the characters and the team. So we sat down together for a long time, and also we work on the storyboard. So everything that we need to do to actually put the film in the scene to make it. And we never worked together before, so we met on this project. But we surprisingly we were going on the same direction, so we were quite on the same vibe. And this is something that doesn't happen all the time. We were agreeing on many things, and yeah, it was easy going working with him. Then when we made the film, Michele was in distance, so because he's stable in Torino, and I was in Rome. The film was made in Rome, and so in Rome I started to work with Nick. I also actually met Nick mainly in this project because I met him before, but this was the first time that we worked together, and this was the first time that actually we got to know each other and we became friends also.
The experience on set with Lucia and with the family, because in the end we were all a family. It was quite nice. The animation industry in Italy, just by existing itself, it's really difficult. Imagine stop motion where you need a lot of spaces for the sets or storing spaces, anything. So Phantasmagoria Studio is basically a big house, a big apartment where there are rooms dedicated to, set building and shooting and all that good stuff. But there's also a bedroom. And you might ask, a bedroom? Why? Well, I live in Torino. The short was animated in Rome, so I was sleeping in the studio and living there. Apart from that, we also had a kitchen, so whoever was available would cook, make lunch for everyone. Most of the time it was Lucia because she had a lot of time to think and and wait while I was animating. So she was always cooking something nice, but other times it was the DOP, the director of photography, Valerio. Sometimes it was me. Some days we would start the day by going, to get the groceries and and asking, okay, what do you want to eat? Is this pasta with zucchini and all that stuff? Good, good, okay.
We really had actually at some point the menu like stick on the fridge. Like today we have pasta e fagioli and beans. Tomorrow we'll have lasagna. I don't know. We.
So good.
That's a great way because you're approaching people for normally one reason is to look at their shots and critique it. So this time you're like, you have to redo that. Here's some food. It makes it easier.
And very
Yes.
Italian, if I might say so myself.
Your opening shot is almost like a live action B-roll shot, right? And it didn't look like it was 3D commed. It looked like you built this set, but it looked like it was not the same stage necessarily with the same trees used later. So with limited space, I'm curious what the decision was to set the tone with the opening B-roll shot in a stop motion world.
Yeah, we actually made it a secondary set. What you see in the opening shot, it's all in camera. We didn't want to have like a compositing or heavy, something that wouldn't match the style later on. In the back of my brain, in my references, in my vision or imaginary, there is the old Walt Disney, and if you take Bambi, is he bring you inside the woods, and I love that. I love the idea of immersing ourselves in a different kind of world. We
Yeah.
enter, we witness a story, we stay together with the character for that time, and then we go out. So that really come from Walt Disney. It's the master, the teacher.
I feel this film, instead of seeing that they are animals, we need to protect them, I kind of project myself into this cute character. And I think a lot is affected by the performance.
Yeah, we actually talked a lot about this because me and Michele as well wanted the character to actually look as more natural as possible. So to avoid the typical cartoonish kind of acting or exaggeration. And but at the same time, we have these little stoats actually performing like humans sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe main reference was Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
And with Nick, we kind of like find a way to stay in this balance. We kind of find how to use the ears to communicate emotion, how to use the tails a lot to communicate the excitement or the fear or the anger, this thing.
Nick, you watch a lot of wild animal videos before you're animating?
Look, before I wanted to become an animator, I wanted to become an ethologist, like study
Oh,
the behavior of animals. So
ah,
I love animals. I have geese at home, not here in Torino. I have geese and chicken.
you're so
I
perfect
do
for the
watch
task.
animals. Yeah. And I also had the luck to animate with mice, which had a very similar design to our characters. So, 2 years before shooting a Retour, I had this experience where I learned, what to do and what not to do, like using, nose to communicate direction and the ears, how to use those, but don't overdo it.
2 follow-up questions then. One, your favorite animal fact since you studied them. Two, so I'm guessing one of those discussions was about a snowball fight, and I'm curious if you had to swap out puppets or parts to make that snowball fight happen then.
Ah. So as far as animal facts, maybe Lucia can answer because
What about the animal facts? Ah, the one that you like? No.
which one?
Oh wait, okay, there's a third question. It just popped up now. What? What? I,
Lucia just froze in laughter.
I know Nico was so hoping that your internet just crashed.
I have one that I love that I read recently. It's about the lotters. They sleep together, holding hands in the river, like floating in the river, and they hold the hands to just don't get lost by the current of the river. And I love that so much. It's so romantic. It's so cute.
Speaking of
Uh,
hands, snowball fight. Because you already did the match of the brown fur to white fur puppets, right?
the brown fur puppet is a separate puppet from the white fur. So we have two copies of each character. We have faraway shots where I was using cotton, so I wouldn't dirty the puppets in any way with the actual snow. And then there were some close-up shots, uh, and you can notice that, of course, in the brown when Alain and Tour are still brown. There I was using the real snow we had on set, and that was a mix between bicarbonate and water, a bit of water to compact it, and shaving foam. We used this mix. We had quite a few tests, and this was the mix that worked. So it was perfectly animatable, and we would be able to leave prints and animate them in a nice way, and kind of sculpt the snow even. While I was animating day by day, the snow would become more and more dusty. I would just compact it with water again, and it would kind of regain the compactness. And of course, in the studio, there was a nice, fragrance of shaving foam all around. That was a plus.
Refreshing.
The downside of all this is that 2 shorts after a Retour, there's still some snow around in in the
In the
corner
studio,
of the
yeah.
studio. So
In
it could be a
Aquarius, you have
nice.
3D modelers, and the hunter is this really cool. I don't know if it was a blender thing or what, if it was hand done.
We can feel it's out of this world. It doesn't belong there. Why you choose to get that a little like a messy vibe?
I like it something more disturbing, like a disturbance.
Mhm.
Already it's choosing to have the hunter in CGI was already the strong thing to have it like so different to break the visual style. But as well, we wanted something more rough. I don't
Also like a
know.
smoke to me. I feel like it's
Exactly. It's like a cancer in a
Yeah.
way.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
something that it's rough, it's tough, and it's yeah,
Mm.
it's something bad for the whole environment. So we felt that this was the right way. Also, of course, we didn't want to see the face because it's something that has no face. This enemy, this danger,
Yeah.
and this kind of is almost a disease. As well, the hunter is melting the snow, so it's clearly destroying the environment. The whole harmony of the woods is completely like disrupted by this present that is arriving.
The Hunter is a 3D traditional 3D model rigged as it's always been done, and the textures they're handmade, and it's like 4 or 5 frames looped of hand drawn, like
Moving, yeah.
brush strokes, and it's segmented in a lot of parts, so that you don't lose resolution on the drawings.
Mm.
Um, so that was quite challenging to keep in mind what you were painting, because I had to paint, oh, I'm gonna paint the upper torso. So I started there and painted it once and twice, 3 times, like for each part of the body. And then there was also some additional strokes. I use a feature in Blender called a grease pencil,
Hmm.
uh, where you basically draw 2D shapes in a 3D world. So I had these like strokes maybe on the shoulder, and these would also loop to kind of go outside of the mesh of the 3D mesh, and have some line art, very, scribbled line art,
Yeah.
that would go outside of the model. Otherwise, it would be too regular and too 3D. We used a nice technique to do one shot, and it's a shot where Retour is covering himself from the owl, trying to hide, and you see the shadow of the owl going over him. There, we used photogrammetry. Basically, we took a lot of photos, like 200 photos of the set, and using a software, we basically created a 3D model of the set, to use then on Blender or whatever, and project the shadow of the owl onto this surface so that the shadow would interact with the curves of the snow in a realistic way.
That's
That
cool.
was a nice
Nice
technology.
Yeah,
touch.
this was a pure Nick genius because I never thought about it. And for what I enjoy very much in this project was actually the team building and to be in the same space for such a long time, cooking together all the meals that create a very like tight sense of community and family. And that kept us together and make the environment like very nice to work in and with. And so this is what I would like to share as well. To sometimes working in smaller production
Mm.
is better than to work in a bigger one. I feel you share a bit of life together, then you can get on the same brainwave
Hmm.
like way easily. You understand each other better, and you can find how to do the things as well together in a better way. And I think this is nice.
I'm a perfectionist and I like to do things by myself all the time. Productions like these, they help me always understand that it doesn't have to be perfect, it needs to be functional. And in my case, I had to animate shots as nicely as I could, of course, but with the story in mind and what the directors want to express with the shot. And I can make an example because Lucia and Michele, they edited the short in the best way so that they could tell their story in the best way possible. So there's a lot of animation that didn't make the cut. I say a lot, but in reality, it's like what 10 or 20 frames, which is a lot for us animators.
I hear you.
So that the first tip is this, be functional for the director to tell their story. And the second tip is more frames does not mean smoother. In a letter tour, 80% of the time we animated on twos, but I would argue that a lot of the shots on twos are just as smooth as the shots on ones are. It's all in the arcs and the trajectories and in stop motion, of course, because it's harder to control those, and that's what makes stop motion snappier in some cases. But if you do control that, you can animate even on threes, and nobody would bat an eye and realize.
I'm not just a director, I'm also an animator myself. And I
Mm.
learned stop motion animation just doing it and playing, with no big expectation. And it's something very fun that literally everyone can do because it's more close to a game. So I would like to encourage people that like stop motion animation to try it and start to do it because it's easy and then if you get passionate you can go to school and learn, but actually something quite intuitive as well. You just need to tap in your inner child.
Linking back to Disney and what he sought to do, trying to find the child that is within you, the audience, and believe what you're seeing is real, and little puppets made of ball and socket armatures and felt are actually alive. I hope that people will believe that.